Woo! What's going on, guys? Arms Farm coming at you guys today with another video. And today I want to be talking about another Detroit Lion football player that we acquired in this draft, 2022 draft. Do a little bit of a deeper dive into this kid, more of a player profile. And that's wide receiver Jameson Williams from Alabama Crimson Tide. Just an electric kid, 6'2", 190 pounds, young, 21 years old. 4-year deal. We signed him to guaranteed $17.4 million with $9.8 million signing bonus locked up in Detroit for 4 years with the option of that 5th year because he was a first-round pick. Him with Aiden Hutchinson as well. Stats: 94 catches, 1,838 yards out of 19.6 yards per reception, 18 touchdowns. He had 10 kick returns in his collegiate career and took 2 back for scores. Didn't really do any punt returning. He's more of a kick returner. He did that for Alabama, maybe a couple for Ohio State, but I think his 2 touchdowns were for Alabama. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that though. But he's basically, he was like a 3-year guy. Did a couple years at Ohio State. And came over, entered the transfer portal, and went to Alabama. Like I said, a former Ohio State Buckeye. I got this written down. That was in the mix with a really crowded and talented wide receiver room in Ohio State. You know, guys with like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, 2 first-round picks this year that went in this year's draft. I think Olave was a first-round pick. Garrett Wilson, I think, went to the Jets. Don't quote me on that, but Olave, I can't really remember where he went. I'll have to look that up. I want to say Washington, but I don't think they took him. I think they took Dotson. So I'm not really sure where Olave went, but I think he went in the first round. I know Garrett Wilson did. He went pretty young. He went pretty early. I'm pretty sure he went to the Jets. So 2 smaller guys too. Two fast dudes. Jameson's probably bigger than both these guys, but just super talented wide receiver room. Just couldn't really crack it over there. He probably wasn't getting much playing time because those guys are no jokes. So he decided to transfer. Good football players transfer all the time and become superstars. And he became and Jameson Williams became a superstar at Alabama overnight. So that's what he did. He entered that transfer portal and went to Alabama. Next Saban got his hands on him. Boom. Gave him a little bit of money. And that's what happens, right? So this is what he's all about, man. He's an explosive playmaker down the field or in a catch and run type situation. He's just a threat. Speed to burn. There's been reports before his ACL that he was running into 4.2s at a 40 time. He clearly even stated himself that, you know, he thought that he would have had a shot at breaking the record for the 40 time if he would have been able to participate at the combine back in March. I think the record's 4.21, and he thought that he could either beat it or come real close. There's been reports that he told reporters during his rehab that he is in right now. I think this before he was drafted, that he ran a 4.4 40. I have a little bit of trouble believing that because the kid's not at full health, and apparently he wasn't at full health doing that, running a 4.4. That was just reported. There was no video. There was nothing logged. So, but the kid is fast as all hell. Like he can just run, speed the burn. He's like a deer, man. Takes the top off of defenses, good hands, tracks the ball well, and separates with ease. DBs have a tough time turning on this kid, running with him, all that jazz, man. He's excellent in space. He's a make-you-miss type guy. Great vision. So he's just an all-around football player. 2 kick returns as for touchdowns, as well as I kind of alluded to earlier. Dynamic athlete. He can play inside or outside. You want him in the slot. You want him on the outside on an island with another DB. That can be done. And he wins against bigger DBs too, because people talk about his size at 6'2", 190. Is he big enough? He's big enough. You don't need to be 6'5", 230 pounds to be successful in the NFL. Does it help? Sure. Do you got a little bit more body armor on you? Absolutely. But this kid, no real problems with injuries until he had that ACL in I think it happened in January in the national championship game against Georgia, when he was having a great game, by the way. If you didn't know that, just pure electricity. A kid is just dynamic with the football in his hand. And then the negatives come. He is a one-year starter. Work needs to be done on this on his game. Could you say that he's maybe even a little bit raw? Maybe you could kind of say that. I'm not really going to go to that level yet. I don't think he's a raw wide receiver. He might need some refining, maybe some retooling on some of his skills, but that comes and go. That's going to come with coaching as well. Antoine Randall will have his hands on this kid all day. He ran a pretty easy route tree at Alabama. Nothing too complicated. They just always wanted this kid always at top end speed, so a lot of long curls, a lot of flies, just goes. Didn't run a complicated route tree, but when you saw him, you've seen him do the stop and goes. He's capable of doing it. Now he needs to get used to it more now because of that knee, and we'll see how that comes along. Like I said, the torn ACL in the national championship game. Might miss camp. He's already missed rookie camp, which was kind of expected, of course, because it's only been since January, February, March, April, May, June, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, it's only been like 5 months, 5-6 months, whatever. So the kid, these injuries, these ACL injuries are a little bit different now. They can range from about 9 months to about 12. Before they were like 12 to almost 2 years. Not getting full speed up until about probably the second year, but 12 to about 18 months. 12 months to about 18 months. It was a different kind of injury 5 to 10 years ago. The medicine's gotten better. We've seen guys like Cam Akers, Adrian Peterson coming back super early and playing well too. So it's a serious injury. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there saying don't worry about this injury. It's a serious injury because it's a reality. It's the knee, man. You tore it. You have to be really careful, and I think the Detroit Lions are being really careful with this kid. But like I said, he's gonna he already missed rookie camp. You got they got some mini camps coming up too that I think they're doing right now, or it's coming up soon, and he's gonna miss that. He's gonna miss that too. He's gonna miss some OTAs. The rumor has it that he's gonna be ready by mid-July. That he thinks he'll be running by mid-July. But if you hear him talking in that rookie minicamp, kind of changed his tune a little bit. They asked him when he thought he was going to be ready, and he was like, I don't have a clue. He's like, it's the guys in the building that are going to make a decision for me. He's like, I'm feeling better. The rehab's coming along. It's progressed in a positive way. He says he's feeling great. He thinks there was rumors or like an article that came out that his trainer thinks he'll be ready for week 1 of the preseason. I say hold off on this kid on that. We don't want. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Okay, for this kid, there's no big rush to get him in there. We want to see him week 1. I think we all do, but there's a chance that you might not see this kid even suiting up in September. I know that it's looking good. He says he's going to be ready, but these guys are competitors. They kind of jump the gun a little bit on what they think. They feel great right now. He thinks he can run, but he's not even running at full tilt. So if he's not running at full tilt, I don't see him. If he misses a majority of camp, it's going to be tough to see him suited up in September if he misses a lot of time. Because he can do all the mental reps that you want. You want this kid being physical. You want this kid physically out there doing it as well, too. So we got to be patient with this kid. I would not be surprised if he missed the first few games of the season, 3 or 4. I would not be surprised. There's no rush on it right now. There just really isn't. So, like I said, we've seen miracles before with Cam Akers, Adrian Peterson. There's been other guys that have come back within 6-7 months. You know, he could very well be that guy. He could come back. He could be ready by June, July. He thinks he's going to be, because I remember seeing him on an interview saying that he thinks he's going to be, I think it was at his Alabama Pro Day. I might want to look at that again. But I seen an interview, the NFL Network was interviewing him, and I asked him, man, like, when do you think you're going to be running? And he said, well, full tilt, I think I should be going by mid-July. So, okay, he said that, and that was pre-draft. So then after the draft, in the Lions building, drafted, locked up, he kind of changed his tune a bit. He's not sounding down or depressed or anything like that, but he was like, you know, I'm not really too sure. That's further up to the boys in the building, the doctors he's referring to, the trainers, and when he thinks he's going to be ready. And that's a good thing. So, you know, there's negatives about that. He is a smaller wide receiver if you want to go that route at 6'2", 190. The height, I don't have a problem with. The weight, maybe. They had the same deal with Devonta Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a really nice campaign as a Philadelphia Eagle with like 900 yards and 60, 70 catches, maybe even more. But he had a solid rookie campaign. Talent outweighs everything. So, and this kid is just nothing but talent. So then people will ask, well, the question out there is, why was he so low in that OSU, Ohio State, wide receiver depth chart? Oh, I'll give you two names, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Just like I talked about earlier, those two guys were bona fide, legitimate NFL wide receivers. So when you got three on your squad, okay, you're always going to try to get him in there. But he just wasn't beating those guys at OSU. You know, he was 18, 19 years old. 18, 19 years old, those guys, you know, not much older, but I think they were a little more polished. I think OSU was a little bit more committed to those two guys. I could be wrong on that part, though. And it's not a knock on Jameson Williams. You know, you got three studs. Basically, you play two all the time. You know, you get the third, the fourth guy in there. Obviously, on certain situations, it's not like you can't have four guys out there all the time if you wanted to. But there's other options. You know, there's other options. They've had good tight ends, good running game, just everything right there. But the thing with Jameson is that he's an electric player. He's an electric player. He decided to enter the transfer portal, and it did him good. He went to wide receiver U, which is Alabama. Ohio State's kind of wide receiver U as well, but he went to a great school with really good wide receivers, and he became the guy, man. Over 1,500 yards, almost six. Oh, he was just barely touching 1,600, almost got it, with 15 touchdowns, and he was killing it on the national championship game before he went down with the ACL. So the kid's the real deal. It's not like he's not the real deal, but the questions do arise, you know, and you know, sometimes they you know, not that they need answering, like, oh my God, like why couldn't he ever crack Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson? Why couldn't he just surpass those guys? Well, those guys were studs too. Like, you know, it just they went with the territory, man. And then those two guys end up getting drafted, I believe, before Jameson. Like I said, Wilson went to the Jets. Olave, I'm having a problem. Don't remember where he went drafted, man. I don't remember. It wasn't Washington. Was it Baltimore? See, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart there. But bottom line, we're getting a complete playmaker. Every time he touches the ball, there's a threat of him taking the ball to the house, to the distance. He opens up everything within that offense. He's going to take the top off, so he's going to open up things for Hawk, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, even guys like Josh Reynolds, Swift coming out of the backfield. It's just, he's a dynamic player. Defenses are going to have to realize where he is all the time on the field. Now, this is one of the most electric players that we've drafted in a long time. And hey, we've had Kelvin here, and we won jack squat with Kelvin, okay? And he's probably, I would say Kelvin Johnson is You can argue he's top 5 all time NFL wide receiver. Top 5 all time, guaranteed top 10. We won nothing with him. We won nothing with Calvin, right? 0. Now, but everyone seems to think now, all right, man, now you got Jameson Williams. How's it going to be any different? Well, there's a lot to look at differently. This new regime seems like they're building something right. You know, with Calvin, when we had Calvin here, it was Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson to the rescue. That's what it was. It wasn't anything else but. It's like this. It's like this regime, the old regime, put so much pressure on those two players to be the guys, and they were the guys, that they didn't build properly around them. And it's back to the old thing about complaining about how they didn't build. You know, we had one defense here when Calvin was here, one defense with Stafford at 2013, 2014, whatever year it was. That one year they had a top 3 defense, and that was it. You know, and then all of a sudden it just poof, it disappeared. It was gone. Sue left. Guys started retiring. Guys going off to different teams. Just dismantling the team altogether. Just couldn't keep a unit. I think it's going to be different with this regime. It's going to be different. Now you can build around a Jameson Williams. You took Amon-Ra last year. You're probably going to re-up on Hawkinson. Who knows what's going on with our quarterback situation. It's Goff as of right now. Hopefully he takes that next step and becomes the guy. But they're going to have to build around a kid like Jameson Williams. You have to build around him. Make his job a lot easier. And I think it's good, and I think a good regime can do that. And hopefully Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell are those two individuals that do it. But this was a great pick. They moved up to get him from 32, gave up 32, 34, and 66, I believe it was. So we swapped first, swapped second round picks. We dropped about 12 spots down in the second round, kept that second round pick though, and gave up a third. So if you're going to give up only that to the Vikings, I think it was, I personally thought it was highway robbery. At the time when I was doing this, I was doing a podcast with some of the guys on ISN. Some of the guys on ISN were livid. I was kind of like I was trying to digest it. I wasn't mad about it, and I wasn't completely thrilled about it at the same time. It took me a little bit. I didn't overreact. I had to digest it first, and then when I finally did, I was like, you know what, this kid is the real deal. This kid is the real deal, and we didn't get fleeced here. We didn't get fleeced in this trade whatsoever. Yes, Minnesota, man, took some picks from us, gained some leverage, got up, and climbed that ladder in the rounds that they climbed up in, and got some good football players. They actually did, but I don't think they fleeced us, because Brad Holmes was willing to give up another first-round pick to go up and get this kid. So that's what I read. That he was shocked that they only asked for that. So that's a fleece job, if you ask me. So I thought it was a great pick. Jameson Williams in the building, locked up for 4 years. A little more of a deeper dive into his player analysis. You got to worry a little bit about the ACL. It's all you really have to worry about. I don't think he's going to get rushed as a Lion. Do not be surprised if this kid misses a few games at the beginning of the year, guys. Just, you heard it here first. I'm sure you've been hearing it other spots as well. But I have a feeling that he's going to miss a few games. I just have a feeling. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. But don't play him unless he's 150% ready. Even if there's a little bit of a chance he's not. And, you know, I trust this new regime to do the proper things. So thanks for the video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It was a great video. It was a long one again, but it's okay. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, get all my videos, and don't forget to like and comment. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Jameson Williams in the building. Electricity. That's it, man. That's what, when you hear Jameson Williams, think electric, baby. Boom. Go Lions.